Good evening, this is Atmospheric Alex here with yet another weather forecast and discussion for the upcoming snowstorm and major ice storm for the southeast. In this video, we're going to be going over your future model projections for precipitation across much of the southeast here, your snowfall totals and your ice totals from those models and from the National Weather Service as well. But we're going to start off with your National Weather Service's watches and warnings map, and I want to draw your attention to all of your pink areas in here. These are all winter storm warnings, and my gosh, we have so many of them stretching from the South Central Plains through the Mississippi Valley, southeast, and into the Mid-Atlantic, or the southern portions of the Mid-Atlantic, and this is where we're expected to see a lot of snow and a lot of ice, especially ice in the southern portions, and especially snow in the northern portions. So now we're going to take a look at WeatherWise's WSSI Severity Index here. So we're talking about your overall winter impacts here, and this is for today. You can see some major impacts here across eastern Oklahoma and northeastern Texas, even into western central Arkansas as well. And some of your extreme impacts in very localized spots as well are really keeping a close eye on. And I can already tell you some of these impacts verified. There were snow-covered roads in Dallas earlier today. And that is quite a concern for what's to come for much of the southeast here. We're talking about snow sticking and very cold temperatures. We also can't forget about your moderate risk areas here. Basically your same exact regions here. This even includes portions of southern Missouri, western Tennessee, northern Mississippi for today. For tomorrow, this shifts a lot further off to the east here. You can see minor impacts across a large area. And you even have some speckled orange areas in here, some moderate impact zones, especially here going into around Nashville, Knoxville, getting into Atlanta. We're going to have a pretty detailed discussion on that. And going, of course, up in North Carolina, Virginia. And you can even see red speckles here in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is fairly understandable, considering they tend to get a lot more winter impacts up there. Now, how do your impacts shape up over days 1 to 3 through snow amounts? Well, you have major impacts here across the same areas I already mentioned, eastern Oklahoma, northeast Texas, much of Arkansas, for sure. Even getting in on some of middle Tennessee, especially in Nashville here. Could be talking about significant snow accumulations, about 4 to 8 inches. We'll get into that in just a minute as well. Can't forget about portions of Virginia in your moderate impact zones, and everywhere else that is shaded in your moderate impact zones. Lots of snow across the board with this event. Moving on your snow load, this is where there could be some minor damage, maybe to trees in these areas from your heavy wet snow falling down. And this is mixed with your freezing rain potential as well. Ice accumulations go like this. Have some moderate impacts in southern Arkansas. This is anticipated down here, and especially for the threat of ice. We're even talking about portions of northern Georgia, the upstate of South Carolina, even into a little further down there. Let's see some moderate impacts from ice. This will likely be upgraded to a major impact in some of these zones as ice is increasing significantly. So just got to be very mindful with that. And then some minor impacts speckled in there and across some of those areas. And believe it or not, it seems a little bit strange. We do have a risk of blowing snow. It's weird that they have it all the way down to Birmingham. They would have to see significant accumulations to see this, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see what this event does. Here's your HRRR model. You can see at the moment handling the snow extremely well. I will say it is a little bit too light here across portions of Arkansas. This right here might make it east a little bit faster. It might be a little bit stronger. We'll have to wait and see, but snow has been overperforming across this whole area. But you can see right now in Dallas, we're talking about some rain. Unfortunately, nothing more than that. But we're talking about, this shows light, I'm saying moderate to heavy snow across this whole area here. And really, that is the gist of it here. Going into tonight, Dallas finally getting its cold air intrusion and tons of snow. Moderate to heavy snow begins to fall across these areas. This moves further east in portions like Springfield, Little Rock, and I want you to watch southern Arkansas here. Now again, unfortunately, this shows a bunch of ice pellets. This could all very easily be moderate to heavy snow. Not a guarantee, but we could see it. Texarkana likely getting on some heavy snow. Pine Bluff likely heavy snow. Little Rock, same exact thing. Clarksdale might be in on it. In Tupelo, that's a little bit more uncertain, but you could tell this looks to be more of a deformation band, which would favor snow over ice pellets. And yeah, exactly. It really starts to fill in with blue here, and very heavy snow falling across a lot of areas. Going into tomorrow morning, this continues. This is a very long duration event here. It just keeps going, right? Just absolutely insane. Now let's go to our Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia sectors here, and you can see we start to see some wintry precipitation making its way on through. Beginning tonight around 9, 10, 11 p.m., you can see some ice pellets and snow edging its way into Mississippi. Could be a little more in coverage though. Models are too warm right now. Still, after all this data that has gotten all this real-time analysis, still too warm. You can see some cold rain infiltrating the whole area, and another round of wintry precip, and they'd call it your front end thumping of precipitation moving off to your northeast here. Really going through Tupelo, Birmingham, maybe Montgomery, going into around 3, 4 to 5 in the morning. So that is something to note. You could just see here Memphis, heavy snow, Tupelo, heavy snow, and just take a look at that. Really on the line here in Birmingham between sleet and snow for your area. And look at this, you have sleet going down to Montgomery here, Columbus, Georgia, that's far south. And just, yeah, I mean, a very wintry look here to start tomorrow morning. And I would honestly say that there could be a lot more of this that ends up being snow. We'll just have to wait and see. And freezing rain begins to break out here, going a little more into the morning. And Atlanta getting in on some heavy snow, as well as Huntsville, Florence, Fort Payne up here. That definitely looks very favorable for snow, and hopefully that can stay around all day and not melt. Because you want it on the ground, right? Same song and dance continues, and yeah. Moving into your Tennessee sector here, you can see snow begins to break out across West Tennessee, going into 4, 5, 6 in the morning. This continues to overspread the region. Blue across the board out to your west. Look at that. Going all the way into southeastern Missouri, into southwestern Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana. You get the idea. Just take a look at this. Nashville starts getting on it around 7, 8, 9 in the morning. Chattanooga, same exact thing. And we start to see what looks to be another inaccurate forecast here. This is not starting off as rain across East Tennessee. We do not have enough moisture for that. It will start off as a thumping of snow. But you know, it looks like your snow begins to move into the plateau areas, like all the way over here, starting around 5, 6, 7 in the morning, and then traveling further off to your east. Knoxville will definitely start seeing snow around probably 8, 9, 10 in the morning here, and points further east as well of that. Chattanooga getting in on some pretty decent snow here. This could easily be heavier than what the model is projecting, especially with your front end here. And just take a look at this. All day long, we're talking moderate to heavy snow across Middle Tennessee, Eastern Tennessee. And do want to note, you do have some mixing issues along the mountains here. This is due to some weak downslope flow out of your southeast. Areas like Gatlinburg are likely going to be struggling most of the day with snow, freezing rain, and some sleet all mixing in. In areas just to north of this downsloping, we'll likely see reduced snow rates as well. Not significant, but just enough to kind of alter the forecast a little bit. You can see your warm nose starting to etch into Chattanooga here. That is going to be an interesting factor to consider. And you get the idea here. Really just covering Kentucky here. I can't forget about you all. Snow just for a long time. Looks like around 15 hours of snow. I mean, you really can't ask for more than that, right? And snow should really taper off across middle to East Tennessee by 2, 3, 4 a.m. on Saturday. What a long duration event here. Moving into more portions of the South, we'll go over some of the same areas again, but we're going more into Georgia now. You can see your ice pellets, freezing rain to Montgomery here, and just take a look at this. Across Georgia, nice big time wedge of moderate to heavy snow moves through, going into tomorrow around 10 a.m., 11 a.m. to noon. That's when I really expect things to get wild over there. Staying snow for quite a while in Atlanta. This would dump possibly 2 to 3 inches on this model. That really is not a forecast, but all things considered, we got to consider it. And North Georgia getting absolutely blasted with snow, going into the upstate of South Carolina, like Greenville, Columbia, cannot forget about you all getting in on some heavy snow early on. Charlotte getting in on it too. And for all areas to south and west, looks like a cold rain will ensue going into the afternoon and the evening. And that warm nose will etch into some of these areas. Except your cold air damming, your CAD areas here, which will have a constant feed of cold air from the northeast. Moving into South Carolina, and especially North Carolina, we're going to view more of them. You can see your CAD regions here really dumping snow just everywhere. Moderate to heavy snow likely across this whole area here. Charlotte getting in on the action. This actually reminds me of the graph model that someone else shared for the Southeast in general. That's what it's localized too. But, I mean, Greenville getting in on some constant snow here. Fayetteville, Raleigh getting on some snow. Take a look at it covering up the whole entire state here. Wow, absolutely beautiful look here. Going in on tomorrow night and just continues. Your warm nose etches in and unfortunately switches to ice pellets and cold rain as well. Now, it might sound like fun and games seeing all this snow, right? Well, it won't be when a lot of areas end up going below freezing. Oh boy, yeah, this is not fun at all anymore, is it? We're going to be talking about significant snow accumulations here. Yeah, take a look at all this in here, this outline. Anywhere in this outline north of it could see significant snow accumulations and grass on roads, especially bridges. You gotta watch out there. Travel is going to become extremely difficult across a lot of these areas. Look at that, staying below freezing there for northern Alabama, northern Georgia, most of Tennessee, except your mountain wave prone areas. Just, I don't really like this look. I'm going to be totally honest. And going into your CAD regions, yeah, just below freezing conditions. This is likely being underdone as well. I think it'll get even colder here. But be extremely careful if you have to travel anywhere. I know they're already salting the roads out there, or at least putting gravel on it what they can. It is going to be icy out there tomorrow. And this cold air just sticks around. Doesn't even get above freezing for Tennessee here going into Saturday. So just staying icy the whole entire time. Not what you want to see. It's going to be hard to treat these roads, especially with a limited amount of snow plows here in the southeast. You all would know a lot about that, I'm sure. Now we're going to go rapid fire through these. Now hopefully you know where your town or your city is located because you can see it right here on the map in front of you. But without further ado, we're looking at Dallas here. We could be talking about another 5 inches on top of what already fell. So that is going to be something to watch for. Northeastern Texas here, we're talking about 6 to maybe 7 inches. So still got quite a bit to go across these areas here. Further south you go, the less the totals get. Some minor ice, maybe to a minor glaze. Now, going into Oklahoma here, OKC could pick up another 2 inches. They've been crushed today. About 6 inches in Norman, I believe, from local reports. So 6 to 8 inches for an overall total. That's an overperformance. And going into around the Ardmore area, going into southwestern Oklahoma, 4 to 6 inches, little hot zone there, if you will. Going across Tulsa here, you have a lot more to go, obviously. Talking about 6 to 9 inches here. Look at that. Across areas like Muskogee here, McAllister, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Fayetteville, Arkansas, getting in on the bullseye here for this CWA region. Now, how about Arkansas? Look at this here. Absolutely insane. Definitely could see some areas going over a foot here. But we're going to go a little more in depth. Russellville, look at this, 8 to possibly 10 inches here. Little Rock, around 5 to 8 inches. Same for Hot Springs. So lots of snow, central northern Arkansas here. Look at that mountain view, 8 to 10 inches possibly. And just a large swath here, really getting in on the action. And just a reminder, it will be below freezing, so be extremely careful on the roads. Almost every flake that falls is going to stick. Carrying on now into the Shreveport region, you can see quite a lot of snow in your northern half here. Broken Bow, possibly up to 6 more inches. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely not said and done here. And going a little further south into, look at the Shreveport. They're calling for a 1/10 of an inch of snow in downtown Shreveport. We'll just have to wait and see on that how far south this snow line ends up getting. Now, of course, your ice accumulations are going to be significant. Up to a 1/10 to almost 2/10 of an inch across Texarkana and Hope. That is very significant for this area. They're not used to seeing this much ice. And across the rest of the area, a light glaze. But the roads are going to be a disaster in these areas if we keep seeing trends like this. Heading into Jackson, Mississippi. Oh gosh, look at this over here. So this National Weather Service office is going more aggressive in Arkansas. Possibly a quarter to maybe even a half an inch of ice in some of these areas. Stay off the roads if you can. Stay inside, all right? This is no good news out here, for sure. Besides this, though, going into northwestern Mississippi, talk about potentially a 1/10 of an inch of ice. These areas are not used to it, so there will be a lot of problems here. Oh boy, here we go, going into Memphis, right? 8 to 12 inches across a large spot here in eastern Arkansas. That's no surprise, is it? And yeah, take a look at all these 6 to 7 inch readings here across much of West Tennessee here. And that is definitely a continuation of our jackpot zone here. And I wouldn't want to leave you all out going further south as well. You know, this NWS office even calling for 2 inches in Tupelo, Mississippi. Wow. Now into Paducah's jurisdiction, yeah, generally 4 to 6 inches across this entire board here. And yeah, Paducah, 4 to 6 inches obviously here. Going a little further south there, a lot of snow. Evansville picking up 4 to 5 additional inches. That might be a huge issue, because you already have gotten quite the winter storm just last week. Now, here's a shocker. We're going to go into NWS Birmingham, a whole entire inch for Birmingham. That's quite a big deal down there. Look at this. Alex City. I didn't even realize this. It's weird how the font is different, too. Oh, do they know I'm talking about their area? Wow. Feel kind of honored here. They're talking about dusting there for my city, right? Oh, I wish I could get more snow in my city, but we're talking about maybe upwards of 1.5 inches a little bit further north. Tuscaloosa, even a bit of a half an inch there as well. Ice accumulation goes like this, about a 1/10 of an inch across a lot of these areas, especially in Birmingham as well. Hey, luckily no ice for Alex City though. They look to be all in the clear. Huntsville's jurisdiction, we're just still going down the line here. Around 3 to 4 inches in your northern half here. Huntsville, 2 to 3 inches. 3 to 4 in Florence. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a way to catch some people by surprise down here, possibly, who were not expecting snow. And ice accumulations, you can see some of your valleys here getting locally more ice here. Fort Payne up to a 1/4 inch. That's going to cause a lot of issues. Suwannee, 1/10 of an inch to a 1/4 of an inch because you're in a valley location. Now for Nashville, up to 6 to maybe 7 inches. That's a lot of snow. Clarksville, same ordeal there. Really just a big time hit across Middle Tennessee. Going further north into Louisville's jurisdiction, 4 to 6 inches, literally across the board here. No need to go more in depth. 4 to 6 Louisville, 4 to 6 in Bowling Green. Wow, look at this here across Atlanta. This area, I will say, is the most uncertain. I mean, take a look at this. About a inch here for Atlanta. These could easily skyrocket or they could come crashing down. It could be anywhere from, let's say, a dusting to 6 inches, right? It really just depends on real-time analysis. Okay, your northern half of your CWA here getting in on around 1 to 3 inches. Southern half, not nearly as much, but getting down to Macon here about a dusting, which they're going to probably get because look at your ice totals here. Quarter of an inch for Atlanta. Look at this, 0.35 for Gainesville. So yeah, this is going to be a significant ice storm, possibly even a little bit crippling in some areas as these totals may increase. And I do expect, like I said, widespread power outages, tree damage, you get the idea. Absolutely horrid conditions here. Now for my favorite weather service office here out of Morristown, taking a look at 4 to 6 inches across basically much of East Tennessee, except in your downsloping areas here. Take a look at this. Lower confidence in areas highlighted in red. So areas like Greenville here, 2 to 3 inches. I'd say 2 to 6 inches though. Gatlinburg, likely 2 to 6 inches as well. And going further south, your warm nose may infiltrate this area and cause much less snow to fall. Your ice forecast, well, because of this, there's some uncertainty. And because of your warm air, anywhere from 1/100th to 1/10 of an inch. It's a very big range, but believe me, it's definitely needed for events like this. So yeah, I would recommend if you're in Gatlinburg, Sevier County, really, just probably stay off the roads, just on the safe side. You really don't want to be caught up in any significant icing here. Into West North Carolina, 2 to 4 inches everywhere here. Asheville, around 2 inches. Charlotte, an inch. Nah, it could very easily go up. I really don't see it staying like that. Significant icing again. Wow, we're talking about 2/10 to 3/10 of an inch down here in your reds. This is going to be very significant down here, for sure. Some of your valley locations getting more localized totals as well. Oh, take a look at this. National Weather Service out of Columbia. Major ice storm across these areas as well. This is a horrible trend, and this could even go crippling for some of you. So basically a lights out situation in short. Going on to Raleigh here, around 1 to 3 inches. Getting it on to 1 inch here as well. Winston-Salem around 3. More icing, again, 1/10 to 2/10, that's still extremely significant for this part of the country. In particular, Raleigh there getting in on 1/10 of an inch. Thank you all so very much for tuning into today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button if you wish, and maybe even subscribe to my little corner of the weather community. Share this with friends and family on social media, and even put a comment in the section below if you have any future suggestions for me. And with that being said, stay safe everyone from this crazy winter storm moving through, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a lovely night, everyone.